I know you previously said that change is hard, but irrelevance is even harder.
Yes.
Actually working with companies, what are some of the biggest barriers for change? I mean, I'm thinking culture, there can be locations, store format sizes, people.
You know, I've worked on the reinventions or transformations, if you will, of about 40 companies. And so I've had a front row seat on studying leaders and organizations, cultures, and how they think about change. There's a couple things that I believe are noteworthy and on point to your question. The first is that, we tend to value things that we can predict and rely on, and things that we cannot easily predict or have a lot of variability to them, we tend to discount. And if you think about even business school training, it's centered on, partly assessing the risk of change. What we need to be better at is assessing the risk of not changing. Because when, we are experiencing an era as never before where the compression of business life cycles, brand life cycles, is shorter and shorter, it calls on us to continually push into the future, figure out what works, quickly scale it, and abandon what doesn't. And I think the tech industry would be a good, comparative where that's what they do, this rapid prototyping, testing. Here's 1.1, release 1.2, 1.3. It's this constant piece that retail, and I would say most consumer brand companies, and even many B2B and distribution companies, they're just not used to doing that. When you could build a model, stand it up, get it to some kind of optimal state, you could have decades without really doing much to tweak it. And if you did, it might be incremental. Now, it's re-examining. When I grew up and in my early career, I remember leaders that I looked up to, perhaps my clients, they would say, look, if it's not going to last many, many years, in fact, decades, it's not a strategy, by definition. And today, we have to, as a discipline, re-examine our strategic choices because the world's changing so fast around us. So I think it's just getting, the expression I think about with change is, yes, it is hard, but irrelevance is harder. But really what we have to get beyond is fearing it and seeing it not as risk, but as opportunity. And personally, as leaders, business leaders, but also just humans involved in, all of this, to think about how do I get comfortable with change? In fact, how do I get good at it, even beyond good to like pro athlete good? And that's, that's a reinventionist mindset that we've started to talk about in our business because we've learned how to help companies change.